everyone. We are coming to you live from Newegg Studios in Southern California. This is Newegg Now. I'm Trisha Hirschberger.
I'm Juan Carlos Bagnell, and thanks for joining us on our third episode of the Newegg Now. This is the show where we're going to talk about tech, gaming, PC building, hardware, and of course some sweet deals.
Yeah, so we're going to give you a bunch of cool info, some fun demos, and of course limited time pricing, which is often for just a few hours or through the end of today.
End of today, yeah.
So to all of those of you who are watching us live on Newegg.com, we're down here in the corner. Hi there, that's
Hello.
us. What's going on?
All right, so today on Newegg Now, we've got Gigabyte. They're going to be dropping by, talking about the benefits of upgrading to their latest motherboards, showing off some cool PCs. Speaking of cool PCs, iBuypower is also dropping by to talk about esports and their mind-blowing Snowblind PC. And then to wrap up the show, we're going to talk about the differences between different PC build form factors in a segment brought to you by Cryorig.
Yeah, so we've got a really big show today. Lots of hardware, lots of fun, lots of deals, so stay tuned. We're going to be right back with Gigabyte.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so Juan,
Yes.
one of my favorite things in the entire world is sitting down at a brand new upgraded PC and booting up for the first time. Like with the latest hardware, taking advantage of all of the latest tech advancements. Like it just feels like walking through untrodden snow and your footprints are the first.
Yes, you lead the way. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, peeling the plastic off of a new phone is a close second.
Okay.
But hitting power on what you know is going to be a monster performer is absolutely a highlight, I think, of a lot of gamers and tech enthusiasts.
Yeah, it's so nice. So in celebration of everything that is new, today we're going to be talking about new motherboards, new GPUs, and all the other exciting and new things from Gigabyte. And here to help us do that is Van from Gigabyte. Welcome, Van.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thanks for joining us.
So let's start off with the easiest question of them all. What do you do at Gigabyte?
So I'm a marketing manager at Gigabyte. I've been with the company for a little bit over 2 years now, and most of that time has been spent working very closely with Gigabyte's PC gaming hardware.
Nice. So when we talk about Gigabyte and gaming specifically, we often hear the name Aorus. Can you tell us a little bit about Aorus?
So Aorus is Gigabyte's high-end premium gaming lineup. At Gigabyte, we create a wide variety of products. So we created the Aorus brand to target specifically for gamers. Earlier this year, we started to incorporate a lot more product lines into the Aorus line. We have graphics cards, we have motherboards, we have keyboards, mice, cases, CPU coolers, even external graphics cards. So Aorus isn't just a specific product lineup, it's more of an entire ecosystem that's created by Gigabyte.
Now, you brought quite the collection with you today.
He went through that list and he was like, we've got a prop on the table for everything that he mentioned.
And we're both like bobbleheading. So let's start off talking about the external GPU you brought with you, the gaming box. Tell us about that.
So that product is called the Aorus GTX 1080 gaming box. That is an external GPU. And unlike traditional graphics cards that go inside of a PC, that's actually outside of your computer. So that's in a self-contained enclosure, and that's connected to your laptop or Ultrabook through a Thunderbolt 3 cable.
Beautiful. Now, we have a video of the gaming box in action, so let's go ahead and take a look at that video while we continue talking about this. Talk to me about some of the gaming applications that one might use this for.
So traditionally, Ultrabooks have very weak integrated graphics. So this is kind of our solution to that. So by plugging this into your laptop is now being powered off of that external GPU, which is the GTX 1080. So you're going to see a lot more performance. You're going to see your games are going to run a lot smoother. and you're going to have a lot more horsepower at your disposal.
And it's kind of a best of both worlds situation. You can have a really thin, lightweight, on-the-go notebook when you need it, and then something a bit beefier when you require those extra frames per second.
Correct. So, it's a really small size, so it's going to be easy to travel with, really portable. So it's great for people who are always on the go and need that extra performance.
And it even comes with its own carrying case, speaking of portability.
Right here. So we actually call this, we nicknamed it Lunchbox in the office,
That's
since
fun.
it kind of
I
looks
like
like
that.
one. So it's easy to carry. Again, this, the gaming box and your laptop can probably fit in a single backpack, so you can take it everywhere with you.
So nice. Now, you've also brought with you one of your latest graphics cards. What should people know about the GTX 1080 mini-ITX?
So this is the smallest GTX 1080 in the world. And you can see it's super tiny, super small. Kind of like the gaming box, we've designed it for small form factor. It's designed for mini-ITX PCs. So maybe if you are looking to build a small footprint PC, such as like a home entertainment system, or you'd like to travel a lot to LAN parties, this card is going to go really great with a system that's designed to be small.
Yeah, it's super impressive how small it is, and then the external GPU, to go right with it, that's amazing. Will we still get the same performance on something that small? Like, will heat be a concern there?
So with this card, you're not making any sacrifices in terms of performance. This has the same clock speeds as NVIDIA's Founders Edition card, so you're not going to make any performance hits there. Also, in terms of cooling, we have our WindForce cooling technology.
Okay.
We started that a few years ago, and we've kind of been improving it generation by generation. So this is kind of the latest iteration of that WindForce technology. We have a custom design fan up front. We have a custom design heatsink underneath with copper heat pipes to make sure that everything still stays cool, even during heavy load.
Gorgeous. I love it.
It's really petite. I like it.
I like petite things. So is this available now?
Yes, this card is available at Newegg for a MSRP of $539.99.
Nice.
Excellent. Well, I mean, we can talk about really, really cute looking graphics cards, but you need to plug that graphics card into something, and because I'm looking at you, but I keep getting distracted by
It's so easy to get distracted
yeah,
right now.
shiny,
Okay.
flashy lights. Yeah, I have that problem. So you brought along a couple motherboards to talk about too. These are the Z370s, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. So these two light shows over here are our brand new Z370 boards created by Aorus. These launched very recently, last month. This one over here is the Z370 Aorus Gaming 7. This is the Gaming 5. These kind of represent our, performance lineup for motherboards. They are designed specifically for Intel's 8th generation core processors.
Now, obviously, I think a lot of the discussion, we talk about graphics cards, we talk about the actual CPUs that go into these. What are some of the advantages of considering that motherboard as part of the equation too? Like, what separates a gaming motherboard from like a more traditional workstation or desktop motherboard?
So gaming motherboards, for the Aorus line, we've kind of incorporated all of our latest technology, all the features that we have at our disposal, we put them onto these motherboards. For example, the Gaming 7 board right here, we have triple M.2 slots.
Oh, wow.
Also, a nice touch is that we include a thermal guard on the front. So that cools your M.2 SSD to make sure that things aren't throttling even during heavy loads. Gaming 5 over here, the special feature for that one is it has Wi-Fi on board. So out of the box, you're gonna get a more complete out-of-the-box experience.
Cool.
Excellent. And so, so obviously, we've been talking in other episodes too, and I didn't bring a picture of Frankenbox
A
at
tease
home.
again.
I know. I promise you guys, I will
Some point,
eventually
maybe
show off
for Christmas.
my terrible home workstation right now. So obviously, I think one of the things that immediately catches the eye are these RGB controlled lighting rigs that can kind of match other people's aesthetic. But when you talked about like the thermal guard, again, we talk about CPU coolers, we've talked about liquid cooling and GPU coolers and stuff like that. That managing all of that to make sure that you're getting all of the performance you're paying for is critical too. And that's something that I think a gaming motherboard is probably more adept at helping the user control than just, again, an off-the-rack, word processor.
Correct, because with gaming, games are getting much more demanding these days, so you require a lot more power. More power means more heat, So for these motherboards, we've designed it to make sure your system stays as cool as possible. The M.2 thermal guard, we have VRM heat sinks to make sure, again, everything stays cool even during heavy applications.
Nice. And so, we're talking about the full system. We're talking about the system holistically, and you brought a couple rigs to show off here. The computer here in the background, we'll have some better footage that you guys can see up close and personal. That's one of your older gaming PCs, and then this is the new hotness that
Correct.
you're wanting to show off right now?
Yeah.
So our older rig was using a Z97 with a GTX 960. This one, we're using all the latest tech. So we have Intel's 8th gen Z370 platform in there paired with a GTX 1080.
Gorgeous. And so, when we're looking at these differences in terms of hardware, why should people upgrade to the latest and greatest? Like, what kind of concerns, what kind of real advantages might someone be getting when we're talking about that kind of generational leap with new tech?
Pretty much the answer is performance. It's a night and day difference in terms of performance, and more performance gives you more FPS. So when you're playing games, you're going to get higher FPS, which means you're going to get a smoother gameplay. You're going to get a more immersive gameplay experience. You're not really going to be worrying about stutters or jitters. You're just going to be able to sit down, enjoy the game at its fullest graphic quality.
Now, what would you say to people who maybe are thinking, the system I have now runs the games that I play just fine. There's no point in upgrading.
So new systems like this,
Look at the smile. He's already like,
He's like, I got this one ready.
yeah. So new systems like this, we kind of open up more gaming opportunities. For example, VR gaming. That's something that's been really exploding recently. Older generation hardware can't run VR games at all. So with this new stuff, you're going to get, again, the smooth gameplay experience, the more immersive gameplay experience. Also, it's going to be able to push resolutions above 1080p. A lot more people are buying 1440p monitors, 4K monitors. So those monitors require more pixels to be pushed out. So you need more horsepower to run those. And new systems like this one are able to run that with no problem.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all of your insight today, Van. I think we've got everybody at home excited and ready to upgrade, so let's talk about the deals.
Yes. Gigabyte Z370 Aorus Gaming 5 motherboard, 8th gen Intel motherboard, packed full of the latest technologies. The Gaming 5 has integrated Wi-Fi, Van mentioned that, super useful. And again, catching my eye with the RGB lighting rigs.
So pretty.
You've heard all about it from Van, and you've seen it in action, so now you can save $50 on that board today only as part of Newegg Now.
And we've also got another deal on another Gigabyte motherboard, the GAZ270XP SLI.
It's easy for her to say.
Right? So this board supports previous gen Intel processors, 7th and 6th gen. It's got support for multiple GPUs, and you can save $30 as a part of Newegg Now. So for all of today's deals, make sure you go to newegg.com/Newegg Now to see the promo codes and the full details on the product. And remember, these deals are only for a limited time and while supplies last.
Well, so thank you again for joining us, Van. It was very helpful and illustrative to have you on the show. Coming up next, potential, not a competitor. No, you guys are like frenemies, right?
No, we're definitely friends. So, Gigabyte, we make PC components.
Right.
iBuypower builds the system. So
that was what I was looking for. Coming up next, we've got iBuypower to talk about Snowblind. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss it. We've got the ninjas pulling gear off the table. This is really exciting. I love this. We're doing it live. Well, we've talked a lot on the show about building your own PC, you know, sort of the individual components that go into PCs.
Of course, this is Newegg.
Yeah, of course. I really forgot where I was for a second. That's, you know, but that's not necessarily the right move for everybody.
Sure.
Some people might be in the market for a pre-built system. They maybe don't have the time, or they don't want to consider each individual component for, you know, putting together that box.
Sure, building your own rig can be daunting for people, and we understand that. So do the folks at iBuypower. For me personally, I
crossed
built
over
a
to the
rig
dark
years
side.
ago, and
I know, you were
and
gonna
I'm
say
like,
it.
okay, checked it off my list. There you go, got my nerd card. However, now, especially now that I have a mini-me, I really appreciate the convenience of being able to maybe design my own system and then have someone else put it together for me and have that come maybe with a warranty, and some troubleshooting help, you know.
Well, I think it's funny as I've gone through different stages in my life. Like there was a time where I wanted to work on every piece of my car myself.
Totally.
And now I don't want to do that. And so I totally appreciate. I'm still like.
Have you crossed over to? No,
I haven't yet. No,
I
think
not yet.
I think my next build, I'm very interested in kind of choosing some of the new like crazy multi-core CPUs and, you know, getting into the nitty-gritty on each individual component. So I'll probably still be building for my next rig, but I can totally see where as my daughter grows up, I'll probably need to back off.
And of course,
a bit,
talking about all the cool stuff that we talk about on this show makes me want to go back to getting my hands in there. So that might happen soon.
But because you know, for those of you who are interested in the pre-built PC market, and you still want a baller gaming experience, I think one of the first companies that will come to mind is iBuypower. They've been around for a while. They've got an excellent reputation, especially not only for building machines but for supporting them. And to expand on that conversation, we're going to throw wide because sitting over here to my right is Tyrone from iBuypower. Welcome to the show.
Yay.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Good to see you. First of all, tell us a little bit about iBuypower and what you do there, how long you guys have been around, and what your specific specialty is.
Sure. So thanks again, everybody. So iBuypower, you know, we started in 1999. We are custom gaming PC specialists. So what we do there, we build custom gaming PCs for the consumer. And really, that goes from everything from the most competitive players down to the casual folks and, you know, just finding the right fit. What I do at iBuypower, so I'm the esports development manager.
Nice.
So what that means is I get to, you know, hang out with the pro teams, I guess, do a lot of the esports
just chilling,
tournaments.
NBD.
No big deal. But yeah, you know, I guess a lot of the fun stuff, you know, sponsoring the players, working with the teams, collecting feedback, and then, you know, having that kind of trickle down into our product lines.
That's a cool job.
I was listening to you, but I've been kind of distracted in what is this?
Ooh, yeah.
We got the memo on Snowblind, and then seeing this actually operate is kind of intense.
Definitely. So Snowblind is, you know, so one of our big things is innovation, and we really like to think that we're on the forefront of that, especially with iBuypower. So this is our Snowblind LCD clear side screen panel. This is actually a partnership with Intel. So we put in a lot of cool technologies in here, and you know the whole point of this is really to show your style. You know, paint your canvas and really like highlight the internal components within.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, it's instantly.
It's
I'm speechless.
It's so gorgeous. I don't know if you guys at home can actually
I think we can
see
go to
what's
close-up
going
footage.
on here,
Yeah,
but yeah, we have
let's cut.
close-up footage of it that we can show you.
I mean, like I saw a transparent display at CES like 5 years ago. This is going to be amazing, and like I've seen nothing since. And to see like this be as well polished that it's essentially a transparent monitor built into the side of your
I mean,
case.
this is an art piece.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's incredible. You know, you can really put anything you want on there, from, you know, your favorite animes to, you know, your favorite logos and whatnot. And it's been incredible. You know, we first saw it online and we decided to pay homage to it. We really liked the idea. And so this is the first mass-produced solution designed by both internally within our team as well as Intel. So that's
So
been awesome.
this won't be available until the end of November. Is that correct?
That is correct. You can find it Newegg at the
But I
end
mean,
of November.
I can have this one.
Exactly. You know, we'll just sign off a few paperwork.
Totally.
He went with me on it. I totally get one.
If you keep asking often enough, eventually someone will say yes.
So.
No, but as we mentioned before, we are really into building our own PCs. This is Newegg, but sometimes, as we were talking about before, there are
Right.
things that would make one want to buy a pre-built rig. What are some of the advantages of getting something that's pre-built?
So definitely, inside a computer, there's 15 different parts. So a lot of times with do-it-yourself, you have to buy all these different parts and pieces, and if one goes wrong, you have to kind of troubleshoot it yourself.
Right.
We centralize all of that to one point of contact within our tech team, within our customer service. So anytime if you have an issue with a PC, we're just one call away. On top of that, we have the 3-year warranty, 1-year parts and labor. So we definitely have you covered. And one thing that often isn't talked about is kind of a lot of the parts and pieces you buy in DIY, they kind of need to be validated. They need to make sure
Right.
they all play nicely and all that good stuff. And yeah, we got you covered from A to Z. We have engineers literally vetting every single part that comes through. On top of that, every system comes with your full license windows. A lot of
I
times.
was gonna say, I love when people are doing like the math on like, I can totally make this for less than the cost of this, and you're like, you forgot the OS, man.
Oh yeah, that costs money too. So speaking of all the value that's put into this thing, how hefty is that price tag going to be?
So this one, I believe, will be under $3,000
wow.
at the end of November. So
Okay.
be on the lookout. That'll be awesome.
Excellent. And so, just to kind of shift gears real quick, because you brought this up, and this is what the work that you're doing at iBuypower. We wanted to talk a little bit about esports and the esports university. Can you sort of expand on that a little bit? Because I think this
Sure,
is something that, especially Western audiences, are starting to get involved in more aggressively.
Definitely. So I guess we'll take a step back real fast. Esports. So what is esports? It's competitive gaming at the highest level. So that's something we truly believe in and support. We love gamers, and essentially our entire company is made up of gamers. And it was a real natural progression working with these pro teams, working with these pro organizations, and then kind of the conversation of school universities came up. So for a lot of you guys that don't know, iBuypower was the first to support these programs back in 2014 with RMU, or Robert Morris University in Chicago.
Oh, wow.
And then we opened up, so they ended up doing a varsity esports program, scholarships and all.
Oh, wow.
We supported that.
That's
and then
cool.
That is really
in
cool.
2016, the first public school, UC Irvine, our very own UC Irvine. You can see it. We have, the esports arena powered by iBuypower, and we're big proponents of that. So the whole idea is, we kind of want to create a path for higher level education through gaming. This is like a discipline. It's essentially a sport. These kids practice and dedicate their lives to the game,
Right.
and therefore we kind of want to pay it back.
Well, because I don't think, I want to talk to my mom and be like, see, I totally could have made a job out of
Yes.
playing video games.
Any-
It's a thing.
Anything that promotes gaming as a career is something
Right.
I can get behind 100%. So most games aren't super resource intensive, but hardware does definitely make a big difference. So how are you guys balancing performance versus price?
Definitely. So, it really comes down to the usage model of the player or whatnot, So I guess, for example, when we work with esports teams, for example, if it's a Counter-Strike team, we understand that it's super, CPU intensive. If they're big streamers, we're like, oh, okay, well, we need extra cores in there.
Right.
Make sure we find the right GPU for that game. So there's a lot of fine tuning, and it's kind of like a tailor fit for every usage model. So.
Now, for people who aren't as kind of tapped into this community just yet, has there been like a standardization on esports, like, kind of like Formula One racing? There are
Sure,
certain
sure.
like aspects, like certain, you can't have a car with like a jet engine, has esports reached that kind of tier, or is it still kind of open, like certain teams are gaming on certain types of platforms and other teams might have an advantage because of reasons?
It's still early days. There's no like governing body to really rule and lock that down. I think if anything, the only standardization would probably be in monitors, like being 24 inches.
Okay.
But aside from that, not yet. And that's definitely where we kind of see, we want to be the esports platform of choice and
Right.
have a seat at that table, especially when those things end up happening. So we continue to invest and work in this esports space.
Very cool.
Nice. Now, so kind of shifting gears back to the other machine on the table. Like, I like that we've kind of got like Vader and the Stormtrooper. Like, I like that. It really works for me. But this is the system that's actually going to be discounted
That is
today.
correct.
What can you tell us about what's going on in this case right here?
So this one here is actually our Newegg Now SKU. and we're super excited about it. 7700K, it actually contains Optane, and really this is really great for probably collegiate students within that space. This one doesn't include an SSD, but we kind of have you covered with that Optane. You
Nice.
get SSD-like performance with the added benefit of
Big
extra storage.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So this actually has, I believe, 3 terabytes of storage.
Wow.
Mechanical hard drive. So yeah.
I like hearing more of those TBs. So.
Yeah, for all your movies, again, great for college kids. This is awesome.
Yeah, and so, I mean, like, we're really expecting, like, this is going to be a good all-rounder platform, like a work and play kind of system.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So just one more highlight, i7 7700K as well as the 1070. So we
nice.
pretty much have all your gaming needs covered.
Awesome.
Right on.
Well, Tyrone, thank you so much for coming in today. You will definitely have to come back soon and bring even more of your sweet tech with you when you do.
And just you could bring back Snowblind again.
Yeah, I mean, it's yours, I thought already.
Oh, that's right. I totally own this
Totally.
thing now.
That's-
It's
Just
mine.
totally kidding, guys. Oh my gosh.
It's super not true. Yeah, like don't fire me, please. That's not real. So guys, we've got an insane deal on the iBuypower system that's right here that we were just talking about. It is an exclusive Newegg build, so you can't get
Yeah.
it anywhere else.
Thank you.
Tyrone is mentioning all the great stuff inside, and today only we are looking at $300 off and a $200 gift card that you can use later.
That's really exciting.
That's really exciting, especially
Right before the holidays.
100% yes.
That's exactly what we want to see. A little spreading the love, spreading the cash.
For all of your techie-minded friends, you can get them stuff with this gift card. So now you know how to get it. Go to newegg.com/Newegg Now for the full specs and the promo codes that you need. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, make sure you check out the link below for all that info.
Yep, we're looking at a full spec'd out gaming build at a serious discount. Plug it in, you're good to go, and you get that shiny $200 Newegg gift card.
That's so awesome. Also, don't forget the Noctis Snowblind will be on Newegg towards the end of November.
And I'm going to be really excited to check that out
You
again.
will not forget.
I will not forget. Thanks again, Tyrone, for joining us. We really appreciate you stopping by to chat about some cool new tech. And we'll be right back to talk about Cryorig. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, we're going to discuss something cool.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, like literally, like something. We're talking about Cryorig.
Okay, I see what you did there.
It's the monitor in the background right here, and they make some pretty cool products, some excellent cooling solutions,
Perfect.
and how they fit with mini-ITX form factor computers.
Ah, yes. So we're talking about builds that will look beautiful in your living room, say, maybe instead of your office. So we were just talking about the Snowblind, which is, again, such a beautiful, gorgeous art piece with that transparent display. I love it. I would put that in the center of my living room.
right on the coffee table.
But if you want something that maybe doesn't take up as much space, then this mini-ITX build that we've got right here would also be lovely.
Yes, this is the Cryorig Taku case. And again, a really exciting discussion in design, but still giving you the room to put in some components that are going to pack a punch.
And very cool. Yeah, so let's go ahead and start with this very case right here. It's got a beautiful, minimalistic, very modern look. And what can you tell me about it?
Well, I want to start just like real quick to vamp on the
Do
look.
it. Do
because
it.
like this is like if like a certain furniture manufacturer from Sweden we're building computers. Like, this is the better version of what I think that would look like. No assembly required.
Yeah, we're not building it with an
No
Allen wrench.
Allen
Thank
wrench.
you.
Yeah, a socket set for that. But no, so this is a Kickstarter-backed project from Cryorig,
Nice.
which is also exciting too.
Love that.
Again, kind of expanding that discussion that fans were a part of actually funding the creation process on this. And again, I think that also kind of helps a brand like sort of not crowdsource the actual design, but like people liked it enough to contribute money to the production of it. So you know that there's some excitement or that there's some discussion about making PCs that fit into furniture and living room and lifestyle a bit more organically.
Right, it's not just making it smaller because we have the tech to do it, which in and of itself is
It's cool.
very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
But making it smaller because that's something that people will actually use.
Yeah,
and
so-
this is coming to Newegg in December, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, coming next month. I almost said in 2 months because I'm still on Halloween candy brain.
I get it.
Which isn't the actual case. So we're going to do a little preview today. And like you said, it's a mini-ITX case. So we should talk about what that means first. Just
Okay,
in the
perfect.
different like PC sizes.
Yeah, so let's talk about standard or larger builds. This is probably what most of you have at home. I know what I have at home, probably what
Yeah,
you
what I'm
have at
working on
home.
too, definitely.
That kind of build is perfect for gaming, for media production, basically your normal everyday tasks.
Nice.
But then a smaller build would be used for what?
So Taku specifically, I mean, we're kind of looking at this, but mini-ITX, using the PC as a living room media server, again, we've got space conscious issues. It's one area where also I think consoles have kind of filled a certain niche. You can put a computing device under your TV. You can put a full computer under your TV also.
I have tried to put full rigs in my living room, and my roommates vetoed it. So something like
It's
this
so
would
sad.
be great.
My very first DVR was like an old workstation that I had a capture card in, and
Yep.
it's just it doesn't work as well as you think it should. But it's also semi-portable. So I mean, this is a living room computer. It's not out of the question that you could take this to another room in the house, or say you wanted to take it. Are the kids still doing the LAN parties? Is that a thing that
I'd
makes
like
me
to believe
super
that people
old?
are, but yeah, maybe
Really
we're
wanna-
just giving
Is it-
away
Is
how
it all,
old we
is
are
it all
on.
just on the Twitch these days with your streaming and stuff? But no, it's a small footprint, and that smaller footprint gives you a bit more versatility in where you can take it, where you can set it up, and also what you can connect it to. Obviously, here at Newegg, we've got it connected to a gorgeous curved monitor. Maybe it legitimately is plugged into a really nice 4K TV. It gives you a little bit more flexibility on where and how you want to use a proper desktop computer.
I can also see something like this being really nice in a dorm room or smaller
absolutely.
space like we were talking about before, or even on your kitchen counter if you need a PC in your kitchen.
We'll talk about like IoT and like tablets and stuff. Like you could legitimately make a case for, again, a proper kitchen computer. I mean, like I just say computer all the rooms, right? You
I
just
mean,
put them in.
if you
That's
have
the
all
thing.
the monies, sure, then do that. So let's talk about the components that are in this
Yes.
thing. A typical normal full-size build would use an ATX motherboard, which is the normal size board, most people would say. It's got multiple PCIe slots, more connectivity options, 2 to 8 RAM slots. It allows for a lot more power, but that obviously is not in this.
Well, and obviously, I mean, we talk about ITX, it's about balancing form factor against some, I mean, we say compromises, but that's not really the point. I mean, we are trying to achieve a smaller form factor, so obviously we've got to cut back on just how much stuff we can cram into a case like that.
Sure.
So mini-ITX, you're typically going to go down to a single graphics card slot, a 16X PCIe slot, usually only 2 slots for RAM. So you've got to really invest in higher capacity RAM sticks to keep your RAM quantity high. But the nice thing is we're not going to compromise. We're not going to compromise on things like chipset. So we're powering, utilizing top of the line CPUs, and even for this small space here, the Newegg Ninjas put this together with a 1080 Ti Founders Edition. So there's a full-size graphics card in this case right here, and I mean when they did the demos on actually running it for gaming, I mean fans kick on, but this stayed remarkably quiet, all things considered. It wasn't a significant compromise to cram all of this stuff into especially such a thin PC build.
Okay, so that's the part that's got me curious, is how are we going to power all of that stuff? Like if we talk about having a standard power supply, that would obviously be way too big to fit into something like this.
Yeah, like you would have a lava hot power brick on your carpet,
Right.
like my old console. No, nothing like that. Because again, I think that's been a common theme when we've been talking about gaming equipment for this episode is, and also last week when we were talking about different cooling solutions too.
Cool.
We really want to make sure that that stuff is running at its full spec and not melting down on you. And so what they put together in here, I believe this is, I'm looking at my notes, sorry. This is the Tough Power power supply unit from Thermaltake, and it's a small form factor power supply, 3/4 the depth of a normal power supply, which is pretty great. That you can cram, again, it's really exciting watching what you can cram into such a small space and not sacrifice. So typically a small form factor power supply, we're dealing with lower wattages, but again, holistically, this whole PC is built for a purpose to drive certain types of monitors, certain types of TVs.
Right,
and
that's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's that you go in there with that build in your head about trying to create this smaller experience, and these are the types of components that help you do it. It's more compact in all dimensions, and I mean, it gives you pretty good clearance still, even considering it's going into a smaller space. So again, whittling back on that depth still gives you plenty of airflow, plenty of ability to keep heat pumping out of the system.
Yeah, so that this Thermaltake model that we have right here is good for cooling. And speaking of cooling, we are talking about Cryorig. And I know that this Taku build also has a special compact cooling solution.
Oh, yes. The sorry, you caught me by
Sorry,
surprise
I
with
flipped over the
Cryorig.
cooling.
No, that's great because when we're talking about the Cryorig C7 copper. And so again, smaller case, more compact, less airflow. I mean, we can kind of keep saying about that with ITX systems, but this cooler has a copper heat sink. And then what's kind of nice is, even though we're talking about some of these mini components, there is some longevity in that as an investment. So you can take that from a mini-ITX build and say you need to kind of swap some parts around, or you want to go to a more full-size case for a future build. It's not like that's not going to work in an ATX case. So you can kind of move up the food chain or down the food chain depending, and it gives you a little bit more flexibility.
Awesome. So that C7 will be coming out later this month, while the Taku is coming to Newegg in December. So let's talk about something that people can buy right now for a great price as part of Newegg Now, and that is the H7 Quad Lumi. We've got some footage of that, so let's take a look at the video while I give you guys all the details. It's a programmable RGB cooler. So this is for full-size systems, not compact ones like the Taku. This one likely works with your standard build at home. It's designed to have clearance for all RAM sticks. It's got an RGB fan on the heatsink. You can control the lighting elements via NZXT's CAM app, and you can see all of that action in the video. So it's got lots of RGB, great cooling, awesome.
Yeah, the Taku and the C7 low-profile cooler, they're not out quite yet. No. Again, we're talking December for the Taku. But the H7 Quad Lumi RGB CPU cooler you can buy today for a special price exclusively as a part of Newegg Now.
So just go to newegg.com/Newegg Now and you can save $20 off the Cryorig by using the promo code that you will find there. Of course, while supplies last and for a limited time only, you can save $20 as a part of Newegg Now. So again, go to newegg.com/Newegg Now to get all of those deals.
Yes, definitely got to hit that site. If you're watching on the YouTubes or the Facebooks, you're not going to be able to click on those links. So
there's a link down below if you're watching on the YouTubes or the Facebook.
Join us on Newegg so you can get your shopping in, because I don't know if like last week those deals all evaporated.
So fast.
So fast.
I know.
So you definitely go hook all that up, and we'll be right back to wrap up the show.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Newegg Now, and thanks to our partners, Gigabyte, iBuypower, and Cryorig for sponsoring this week's show.
But before we go, let's give a quick
Yes,
recap of
definitely.
today's deals. You can save $50 and $30 on Aorus and Gigabyte motherboards. You can save $300 and get a $200 gift card when you buy the iBuypower system that we discussed today. And you can save $20 on the Cryorig H7 Lumi RGB cooler.
And one more time, you've got to go to newegg.com/Newegg Now for all the promo codes and full details you'll need to start saving. And don't wait, because these deals will not last long. They will go fast.
Make sure you tune in next week. Coming up next week, we'll be joined by partners including Motorola,
Moto.
Roseville Intel, and maybe even some very special surprise guests that we don't even know
They
about
don't even tell us. They're like, we could tell you, but we're not gonna.
Yeah, we'd rather you guys not accidentally word vomit it out, so don't do that. So we
They
don't
can't
know.
trust us to say anything that's not written right in front of us on this display. Yeah. So this has been Newegg Now, and now you know. So we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.